Barbie, a projection of social construct. Created in 1959, Barbie's been a part of American culture for over half a century, whilst also gaining recognition around the globe. However, during this time she's been subject to criticism, mainly regarding her image and ideology. Within these themes, critics often target ideas regarding gender and the body due to her extremely glamorized feminine image, displayed through unrealistic proportions. These aesthetic ideas have influenced impressionable young girls for generations, with many thinking, "This is what I should grow up to be." However, ideas such as gender and the body are socially constructed. Social constructs being a social mechanism, phenomenon, or category created and developed by society and through cultural practice. This suggests that ideas such as gender and the body only exist because we allow them to, perhaps because through this framework both capitalism and male superiority are able to dominate. Therefore, to challenge and evaluate these social constructs, we must first look at what projects them, in this case, Barbie. Judith Butler directly links the idea of gender and social constructs with the quote, "Sexuality is always constructed within the terms of discourse and power." Barbie was initially created to fulfill the idea of post-war feminine beauty, stemming from tensions after the Second World War, which had threatened existing gender roles through the employment of women in the workforce. Wanting to discourage women from continuing to infiltrate masculine environments, Barbie promoted domestic values, partially through her physical appearance of hyper-femininity, preventing her from transitioning out of the home into the masculine sphere. This is reinforced particularly through the creation of Ken, as it became socially unacceptable for Barbie to be viewed as a single woman. Butler also links the idea between heterosexual relations from the construction of the gender through the quote, "Heterosexualization of desire requires and institutes the production of discrete and asymmetrical oppositions between feminine and masculine." Therefore, Ken is used to represent what Barbie is not through contrasts. For example, he represents the typical male ideal by being taller and stronger, indicated through his physique. Furthermore, Ken is publicly presented with the surname Carson, being named after the creator, Ruth Handler's son. This could show masculine dominance, as unlike Barbie, he has a grounded in reality. Although, on the other hand, Ken does not always portray the idea of the masculine male. It is suggested that he is Barbie's perfect accessory, moulding around her lifestyle, showing little individuality. Despite Ken's flawed masculinity, he is still accepted as a suitable boyfriend for Barbie, suggesting that he is simply fulfilling a role that society desires, allowing for the further feminization of Barbie, which also continues through the doll itself. This feminization is prominently presented in the pregnant Barbie, which conforms to traditional gender roles of motherhood. This embodies the conventional idea discussed by Butler, the body is a mark of gender, further emphasizing the construct that women need to become mothers to be fulfilled and marks the importance of family. On some level, she also directly aids male fulfillment through stereotypically feminine activities, such as shopping, which in turn encourages and enhances consumerism, promoting capitalism, therefore supporting male dominance and confirms the idea of separate spheres, upholding the idea discussed in Gender Trouble, culture associations of the mind with masculinity and a body with femininity, which includes enhancing the appearance of the body through clothes. Barbie's signature colour of pink also further distinguishes the idea of femininity, as pink is viewed as the colour for girls, her target audience, but also allows no confusion with masculinity. This creates the issue of whether Barbie is strictly for girls. Many automatically would subconsciously agree with this statement, but also not fully support it. This is an example of what Stuart in Encoding, Decoding would regard as a negotiated reading, where people don't fully accept an idea being presented to them, but at the same time do not openly oppose it. For example, people are unlikely to buy a Barbie for a young boy, but when challenged about the idea will not actively discriminate, representing how deeply embedded social constructs are without our knowledge. Using the ideas of Hall, we can suggest that this is because certain codes may of course be so widely distributed in a specific language, community or culture, and be learned at so early an age, that they appear not to be constructed. The idea of the body links to the idea of the social construct of beauty. Barbie is famously known and recognised for her unrealistic proportions, projecting a false image of beauty onto society, warping people's perceptions of a typical healthy body. Although recently a real-life Barbie doll has been created to represent a healthy American teenager, there is a general feeling that she is fat and imperfect in comparison to Barbie. Although at the same time many of us recognise and criticise the extremity of Barbie's image, her success still prevails. This can be represented and explained through the idea of Adorno and Horkheimer, expressed in the quote, "The triumph of advertising in the culture industry is that consumers feel compelled to buy and use its products even though they see through them." The lengths some people go to achieve the Barbie image shows their impact on our psyche, as in many ways she has become what Zizek would identify as a screen for the projection of desires, although the construct of beauty causes us all to desire the same thing. However, if we all have the same perception of beauty as personified by Barbie, female individuality is somewhat removed, creating ready-made clichés to be slotted in anywhere. This also links back to the idea of gender, and that all women are the same to serve a specific function. Therefore, beauty is a construct within itself, but also contributes to the construction of gender roles. The abundance of Barbie images, especially in female-specific enterprise such as the makeup industry, creates naturalization, which is discussed in Hall's Encoding, Decoding. This being the quality of being brought into conformity with nature, here nature being society. Consequently, this idea of beauty becomes an accepted norm to strive for, leaving people feeling inadequate if this cannot be achieved. A further interpretation of this could be associated with the process of othering, originally discussed by Edward Said in Orientalism. This is where people feel excluded from society unless they strive for or possess certain ideals. In Barbie's case, the perfect body and glamorous beauty is therefore reinforcing consumerism through the beauty industry. Using Hall's ideas, Barbie's beauty is either read through a negotiated reading or complete submission. One example of the latter being Valeria Lukyanova, a Ukrainian model whose life goal is to present herself as Barbie. To achieve this, she takes extreme measures, such as severely restrictive diets and plastic surgery. Although in extreme, she epitomizes the effect Barbie, and therefore the construct of beauty, can have on individuals. The presence and domination of Barbie's beauty within culture has left many wondering, is this beauty? If not, what is? Overall, Barbie enhances and conforms to social constructs, specifically gender and beauty, subsequently becoming part of the construct herself through her mass following. It is difficult to determine whether these constructions define Barbie or are part of her appeal, but regardless of this, she continues to promote these constructs to society, moreover influencing the growth of consumerism as a support for capitalism, which allows for the continuation of these constructs. Therefore, to break these constructs, one would need to rewrite society and sociological expectations, but also break the cycle of negotiated readings, so we challenge and question what we are presented with.